It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television. I wanted to say easy snow, easy go, because if you like this past weekend, and some would say it was too slushy, some would say let's have every weekend like that, and others of you would say no more, no thanks, let's keep moving on. We're going to get some sunshine tomorrow, and you're watching First Warning Live. All things weather. We're sponsored by Marco's Pizza. I've got a great deal of the week to share with you from our sponsor. So if you're hungry for some pizza a little bit later tonight or maybe tomorrow, you'll have a promo code to save you some money. By the way, expect more rain later this week. I put a picture out there that suggests we're going to get some on Thursday into Friday. Well, that's pretty specific. I think the showers are going to develop on Thursday, but it'll get particularly heavy Thursday night into Friday. We'll keep an eye on that for sure. But I can tell you right now, the big story is the clouds will be decreasing tonight. So that's not the big story. It's the fact that it snowed last night. I know it did. And we're going to look at that too. We broke all kinds of records in Norfolk, at least daily records, which is unusual to get to. But you can see there's a little bit of ground clutter, a little bit of radar noise just off the coast of Virginia Beach. If you expand the view, that low is the storm system that blew up last night, came off the coast of North Carolina, and now it's affecting New England. It's affecting Nova Scotia. It's affecting parts of Massachusetts over here, and you can see Nova Scotia over here. So if you look and you're new to our platform, we put our timestamp right there in the upper right corner. So this is just a loop over the last couple of hours. There's an area of high pressure over Arkansas. That'll spell some good weather for us in the next 24 hours. But there's still some streamers coming down into West Virginia, some wraparound snow in eastern Kentucky at this hour as well. Good evening to you. Just wanted to share with you the snow totals. Who made these up? This is coming by way of the National Weather Service. I don't suspect there's 11 inches in Wallops Island now. Probably just a small remnant of that, but that's what was reported. They got walloped with some snow on the eastern shore. Painter had 3.7, Gloucester had 1.4, and officially Norfolk had 1.4 as well, but it was a very slushy 1.4, as I indicated in my Monticello Avenue live report or video report last night. Williamsburg picked up 1.2. How much snow did you get? Chesapeake talked about a half inch to an inch. Wakefield about 0.6 of an inch. I am kind of curious to know what you got, what you think you got. I got a note from Jacqueline from last time around. She said snow. She said, I loved it looking from my inside of my home. Now, to be fair, Jacqueline's comment is coming by way of the 19th of February. She's referring to the snow that we got here a year ago. Oh, but I suspect that this is an evergreen comment. Let's be fair. I loved looking at it from the inside of my home. I'm suspecting, Jacqueline, if you're watching, you probably feel the same way about yesterday's snow. Maybe so, and maybe not. I see note from Kim Thompson-Jones, a note that I didn't read until after. She said, good day to stay in on Sunday. I had made a professional tip. I said, if you don't like driving in the snow, be where you need to be by 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. Now, how many of you heard me say that? I put it online. In fact, my forecast, if I'm not mistaken, this was my forecast at 11 o'clock Friday night. I said a dusting to a half inch, could be more, but I put the 1 to 3 up here, and I left these areas in pink purposefully unnumbered because I knew it was going to be off the chart. But Chincoteague, I said it could be easily above 6, easily. And I said this would accumulate, especially on grassy surfaces and car rooftops. And of course, it coated some of the streets. But boy, was it slushy. Our temperature hovered between 35 and 33. Repeat, 35 and 33. When you're that warm, obviously, if we were in the 20s, this would have been an easy 3 to 6 inches or more for Norfolk, but it wasn't. That may have been what fell, but boy, once it came down, it was so wet and sloppy, slushy, didn't really amount to as much as maybe some people thought they could. But I find this fascinating. I've even reached out to our friends, the National Weather Service. How often can you break a daily rainfall record and a daily snowfall record in the same day? Ooh, that can't possibly be right. It is correct. 1892, because I'm a presidential nerd, that was back when Benjamin Harrison was president. Was he a president? Yeah, he was the guy between the two Grover Clevelands. Same Grover Cleveland, but he had 2 terms, right? So Anyway, 1892, 134 years ago. Bye-bye. This was, again, to be fair, every day of the year has a record. Record high, record low, all sorts of records. Daily rainfall record, snowfall record. Obviously, you're not going to have a snowfall record in the middle of July. But 1892, we had 1.12 inches, or at least that's what was reported. And so, as far as rainfall. But we exceeded that by a half inch or a little more. And then the fact that we got 1.4, and again, that's pretty tough to measure. Every time you measured it, every hour, it got to slush and slushier. You know what I'm saying. But it did take down the 1978 record that had been on the books since the Jimmy Carter administration. That goes back 48 years. This goes back 134 years. You like these facts and figures? I'm all about facts and figures, but I'm also about saving you some money. So let me jump to the deal of the week. It is 50% off. If you are hungry for some pizza from Marco's, they would love to give you half off your bill. It's magically exciting when you can use the promo code WTKR, our TV call letters, and the number 50. Half of your bill will be subtracted right on Marcos.com. Is that not awesome? Now, there are, to be fair, only 6 locations that will participate in this. In Marcos, it's the 3 in Virginia Beach as listed, then 757, the 2 in Chesapeake, and the 1 in Norfolk. And as normal, as usual, we're going to give away free pizza. We're getting half off tonight and through the time frame of Saturday, but the Thursday giveaway is still on track. We're going to be giving away a certificate where you get free pizza for a year, 1 large, 1 topping pizza every month for a year. And this will act like a punch card. If you win it, you'll get it mailed to you in your mailbox via the post office. Now that we're rounding out February, let's just say March right through December of 2026. And then you'll have another free pizza January, February of 2027. Is that not cool? I think it's cool. We love giving away that on Thursday, but you got to sign up. As I mentioned before, that it's not going to happen automatically. You've got to put your name in the drawing. Marcos.com, if you want a Pozzoli, a Magnifico, you get all that half off tonight and through Saturday. But to satisfy your appetite, go to WTKR.com/Marcos. They've got all kinds of pizzas that you may not be familiar with. The white cheesy, the Philly, the chicken fresco. I think for half off, you get all these toppings. That's a steal. That's a real deal. Check it out, Marcos.com. So I'm just checking in with your comments. I'd love to know if you find this kind of fascinating. I mean, you got to be fair. These are numbers we're getting from the Weather Service. Norfolk has about 151 years worth of records. So having that kind of history puts this into real context. I think it's kind of amazing, all things considered. But I'm checking in with you. I'm going to go ahead and toggle on the new comments that might be coming in. So I'm going to import those right now as I'm talking to you, and I see that there may be some new ones. So let me see if that is the case. Let's see here. Let me update this. And let's see if this will come in here. I think it will. Let's see here. So maybe it's not here. What am I doing? I don't know why this won't come in here. Let me see if I'm on. I could probably read it a lot easier. If my software is slow to buffer, that is on the computer, maybe not on me. It could not necessarily be a human error. It could be a human error, but let me see if this is the case. Let's see here. If I'm coming in, don't even see it load. That may not be even coming through. That would be an issue, but let's see here. If that's not the case, let me go back to the telestrator here, and hopefully I can update the new ones if they are live here. Let me come back in this one, see if I'm popped in. There it is. My goodness, I'm even hearing my own voice. I'm not seeing it on the other side, but either way, let me give a shout out to Heather Stevens. She's record-breaking. She's hard to believe. That's science and history and math. Love the learning. Thank you, Heather. But yeah, I got some other comments. So I apologize. I'm not able to import those images as readily, but maybe if I give it a few minutes, maybe it'll come back online. We'll see if that comes in. Hopefully that is the case. There it is. I did. It's so buried deep in the train here. Maybe I got some old ones. Nope, that's from the post earlier this afternoon. So it's anyway acting fickle. So let me go back. And that's just part of the live stream mechanics. We'll go ahead and take a look at what I also wanted to talk about, which is the tide. If we have any impacts with tidal flooding overnight, it's going to come around 1 to 3 a.m. 1 a.m. is when it will be nuisance flooding around Sewell's Point. I took notes here. The one other creek that might have some issues is Nassawadox Creek at Bayford. This is along the eastern shore. Minor flooding is expected there, 3.2 feet. 3.2 feet may be an issue for minor flooding at the Nassawadox Creek near Bayford at 3 in the morning. But as far as Sewell's Point, the nuisance will be around 1 o'clock in the morning, and then it's not really going to be an issue beyond that. That will be pretty much the last of the concerns in terms of the tidal flooding. I also want to mention the coastal flood advisory. There is one. If you squint, you have to really kind of go all the way down to Ocracoke and Hatteras. This is until 4 in the morning. So anywhere from Duck, Wanchese, Rodanthe, Hatteras, and Ocracoke, you could also have some coastal flood concerns right until about that time. So just be mindful of that. It's all because of this storm system that's pulled away. The big story tonight will be the retreat, and I say the retreat of the clouds. They're going to be doing a disappearing act. You wouldn't know that at 8 o'clock, which is really about 10 minutes from now. But once we get into 10 or 11, we're starting to see some stars in Williamsburg and Exmoor and Franklin. Still cloudy for Duck and Elizabeth City and Ahoskie at 11. But if I take this full, you can see even by after midnight, it's really clear. And we're going to have a lot of sunshine tomorrow. The trade-off tomorrow, I mean, it's nice. It's mostly sunny, but it's still chilly. The byproduct of the snow we had on Sunday is going to push the temperatures basically into the low 40s again. That's how warm we got today. Today was 42. I think we'll make a run at 42 tomorrow. And you can see even at noon, the start of the afternoon, hardly any cloud cover at all. And then we'll return to a few wispy clouds by 4 p.m. High temperatures running about 42. Now, it will cloud back up tomorrow night. By this time tomorrow night, clouds will be on the increase. And we may even get a spot of rain along the eastern shore by 7 a.m. Wednesday. I left a 10% chance of rain on Wednesday. It really looks paltry, looks pretty thin. Not a lot of evidence for it, but there's another one that pops up maybe over Edenton at 12 noon, and then it's gone. So really the chance of rain, 10, maybe 20% if you want to put a number to it, but I think generally you're looking at skies becoming partly cloudy. And there she goes. But the current conditions, we're still in the low 40s, right? This is where we stand at the moment. And I'm looking at some of these comments that might be coming in. But if you are watching us live, I want to say hello to you. I got Isaiah Hayward waving. I got some... Brenda Connor says, my daughter was born in 78 during one of those storms. Interesting. Hello to Marilyn Bell, and Taj Brown is waving. So glad to have you all on the screen. Not sure why my software won't pop it in there, but hopefully, maybe at some point it will, and I'll keep trying. That's for sure. But anyway, temperature right now, 42, 43. If you look at these cameras, some of the clouds may be thinning out in spots right now. Let me go ahead and wipe that in there. You can see that maybe some thin spots over Norfolk. A little bit of clearing perhaps on the far end there of the Chesapeake Bay camera, but Williamsburg and Kill Devil Hills also maybe still partly to mostly cloudy. Low temperature this morning occurred at 7:24 a.m. 7:24 we fell to 34. As I mentioned, the high temperature was 42. Current temperatures, you'd like to see how this kind of progressed. We got all the way up to 42 this afternoon, and that was at 3:59 p.m. Normal high is 55, so that's kind of a hard, if you have this expectation of where we quote unquote should be, well that's a false narrative because it's just an average. 55 is not where we should be, it just happens to be where we are typically if you take 30 years and clump it together on an average. We just happen to be 42 because we had a nor'easter and a blizzard roll through during the course of the weekend. Now I know what some of you are wondering, you say, hey, it didn't seem like a blizzard to me. There was blizzard warnings for the eastern shore, just to recap. I had read more comments last night, so you call that a blizzard? I've had a bigger blizzard at Dairy Queen. Maybe so. Maybe so. But you have to understand, by the definition of the Weather Service, you don't need falling snow for a blizzard. And you say, what? That doesn't make any sense. You need snow that's blowing. We had that. You have to have winds over 35. We had that. And you have to have visibility reduced about quarter mile for 3 hours. That's the definition of the National Weather Service. Now, it might not be your definition, but it doesn't require falling snow. I know that seems weird, maybe counterintuitive, and they'll even call it a ground blizzard if there's copious amounts of snow already on the ground and the winds just stir it all up. Like, have you ever seen a little dust devil? A little snow devil comes up. You get a ground blizzard is when the snow that's already on the ground starts to cause poor visibility. Stranger things have been known to happen, but that's what was issued for the Eastern Shore, and some of the video we saw supported that. Now, the actual numbers, if you were curious, what a difference a few miles made. I showed you some of the numbers by town, but if you look at the graph here, 0.5 for Chesapeake, 1.4 I think might have been generous for Norfolk, but it's very slushy. You could have found easily 2 inches around Gloucester, maybe 1 to 2 for Matthews. But boy, once you got past Onancock, suddenly it was really, really high. It was well over 6 inches, almost a foot, perhaps around Wallops Island. So depending on where you were, it really is subjective, but it will also be a good lesson here to know that we sometimes can get very different situations. Even the temperature right now is vastly different. In some neighborhoods, snowfall would be no different. So something to think about for sure. All right, we looked at the highs today. It's 7:55. I'm going to keep moving. I've got some weather trivia for you too. But our current temperature here at 7 o'clock, almost 8, is 38 in Chesapeake, 42 in Hampton. We have 38 in Ahoskie and 40 in Currituck. A big hello to Taj Brown. He's on here waving, saying hello, FWL. And great to see Kim Thompson. Don't see her readily, but I do see Heather Stephen on here as well. So thank you for watching us live. 38 is our current reading in Smithfield. Elizabeth City is also at 38, and it's 41 in Manio. But boy, look at this cold air just kind of diving down across much of the Great Lakes. Not as cold as maybe it could be, might be, but hey, it is very cold relative to even Florida is probably chilly in Tallahassee at 45 than they would necessarily want to or bargain for this time of year. It is 58 in Houston, it's 64 in Los Angeles, but the warm spot appears to be Phoenix. They're currently at 83 degrees at this hour. Our high was 42. The record high was set back just 3 years ago. 3 years ago was 2023. We had 81 on this date, but 42 was the high temperature today. And even though it was 62 on Saturday, that's also misleading. It was another upside down day. We hit 61 at 1:21 in the morning. Repeat, 1:21 in the morning, we hit 62 degrees on Saturday. Most of Saturday was spent in the 40s and 50s. And we barely hit 46 on Sunday before the temperatures just kind of settled into the low to mid 30s when it was snowing. But today, 42, kind of chilly. We've now had 9 above normal days and 14 below if you're keeping score. Now the winds are going to slow down a little bit. You can see gusting at 11 o'clock tonight on the eastern shore might be closer to 30, but even still, once we move this into motion by 11:30 midnight, some of this might continue to be pretty active. I think the peak wind speed tomorrow might be up to 25, and that's pretty consistent here at 27, 22, but it'll be a lot less for the second half of your Tuesday. What do I mean by that? Well, once I hit this to noontime, and still looking at the timestamp in the upper right, once we hit the afternoon, it's probably less than 10 or around 10 for the eastern shore. That seems probably pretty calm given where you were last night at this time. 12-mile-an-hour gusts, again, pretty light, relatively speaking. Again, it's just model-driven, but it will suggest less winds on the second half of your Tuesday. So tomorrow, plan on the mid to upper 20s to start. If you're up early, sun's up at 6:42, goes to bed at 5:54. I'm expecting a sunny start to the afternoon and mostly sunny. Should be matching around 42 degrees come tomorrow afternoon. Checking in with you. I see Taj having some issues with my software, but I can see the comments as I hit refresh. I like hitting refresh so I can see what's going on. And I like seeing your comments because they are very helpful for me. I mentioned Brenda Connors is watching. I got Isaiah watching. Kim Thompson Jones says, good evening, everybody. And I got other folks who are also watching live. So good to have you all here. I mentioned to you that the weather this week will be leading into more rain. Now, if we get to 42 tomorrow, and that's where I think we'll be, I showed you this, right? 42 tomorrow. It's going to be significantly warmer on Wednesday. So let me show you Wednesday. How about 58? That's a pretty sweet outcome. So if you can put up with the chill one more day, you'll get up to the upper 50s on Wednesday. But Wednesday's going to have more clouds in the morning, and then more partly cloudy skies, I think, for the afternoon. Could reach the lower 60s by Wednesday afternoon for inland North Carolina, but many of us will be in the 50s. And what will happen, likely as we head into Thursday, as mentioned that the rain would be picking up, it's all going to be driven in by this warm front from Tennessee and from Mississippi. So this is Thursday, representative of about 1 o'clock. I think the showers will develop here, but I think it's going to have even more energy on Friday because all this is going to come in the direction of the warm front. So if you like rain, you've got your pick days of the week would be Thursday into Friday. Let me show you what this looks like. The spotty rain, stray shower tomorrow. You really have to squint. You see this green here and this green up here? I mean, there's not a lot of evidence for a rain shower tomorrow. I left it at 10%. Maybe it's up to 20. But by the time you hit Thursday at 5, many of us have picked up about a quarter inch of rain in the south side neighborhoods. But we don't stop at Thursday at 5. We got to go through Friday. And Shazam, we now triple it, right? More than triple. We're over 1.5 in some of the neighborhoods in the south side and Albemarle. So 1.4, 1.75 perhaps inland Virginia. It gets soggy on Friday, so my expectation is that we're going to find about a 70 to 80% chance of rain Thursday, Friday. Very limited rain here from the macro view. You can see it fills in a little bit on Thursday, but it really fills in on Friday. Some of the heavier rains may be up in the direction of Richmond if you're traveling there. Lesser amounts may be found toward Nags Head, but about 1.25 inches for Cape Charles. Just checking in with you. I want to say thank you for being here. I'm looking at you. I'm sorry if I didn't have my comments working its way. I hope they would have worked this way on the screen, but for whatever reason, it's part of the things. Technology is wonderful until it doesn't work, right? That's how I always look at it. Well, always love technology until it doesn't work, then it's not as exciting. But anyway, I say that because right now I'm not able to import your comments on the screen, but we can still keep moving. So 1.5 inches by the end of the week. So it's now time for some weather trivia. I will look at my laptop to see who answers what. But the question is, what is a heavy, brief burst of snow called that can rapidly reduce visibility? Is it A, a snow squall, B, a blizzard, or C, polar vortex? What do you all think? Give me a chance to look at your comments. It's A, B, or C. But this is some weather trivia that was posted on our noon show, our noon television show. If you watch it, maybe you're at work or school and you missed it, I'm going to just kind of pick your brain to see if you are on board with the correct answer. The answer is either A, B, or C. If you've got a comment, let me know. I'll just hit refresh. Hopefully one of you will have that answer on the screen. I'll at least give you verbal recognition and kudos if you were able to get the answer to the trivia questions. It's either snow squall, blizzard, or polar vortex. The answers I'm getting from you appear to be, if I have this correctly, let me see here. I got Kim Thompson Jones says the winds were strong and my neighbor had a tree fall. That's not good. That's not good. That was made. Vic Sue says snow squall. Ding, 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 ding. That is correct. I want to give props to Vic. Vic is absolutely correct. Taj was guessing blizzard, but a snow squall will reduce your visibility and sometimes also create a lot of snow over a short period of time. So there you go. Norfolk rainfall is typically pretty dry in February. We were about 2 inches below, but now we're probably about a 1/2 inch. If I'm not mistaken, maybe a 1/2 inch below for the month. Let me double check that. Actually 0.43, that's close enough. So if this is typically, based on a 30-year average, the driest month of the year, we made up for good lost time. We picked up 1.66 of rain yesterday, and that did chip away at the deficit that we were working from. But we usually don't see a lot. So far, we've had this month 3.54. So we've already exceeded the typical February. Almost what you would typically see in March is 3.69, but 3.54 is what the National Weather Service is reporting at Norfolk International. So if you're mindful of the growing season, every raindrop helps, and we'll get more Thursday, Friday, to the tune roughly of about maybe 1 inch, 1.5 inches. Now, as far as the tracking temperatures, I know that many of you like this. This gives you an idea. Are we going to get another burst of cold air? Yes, it's going to come down. It's going to do the bouncy, bouncy, bouncy thing. As you focus on the purple, that's the Arctic air. One thing you'll notice, though, I think as we're getting closer to March, and then we fly in here, we're getting closer to March, a lot of this is going to be moving toward New England. It's not going to be pushing further south. It's more like going from northwest to southeast. So let me illustrate that. And you can also follow the clock and the timestamp at the top here. But I want you to focus on the white line because that's where the coldest air north of that will reside. It will have some ebb and flow, but it will also open the door for more severe weather. And most of this going through March 3rd, March 4th, you can see the clock, the timestamp, keeps it really cold in upstate New York and Maine going through the 5th of March. Doesn't mean that we're going to have consistent weather. We're not there yet. But at least as we start the month of March, we're likely to see a lot of ups and downs. I wanted to show you the latest sudden stratospheric warming map. This is a temperature analysis. 2 areas right here would suggest that this is probably losing some of its punch, right? This is probably not going to be 30 days from now. It's probably going to be moving in the direction we just showed you, which is this way, rather than coming down toward North Carolina and Virginia. But this will create more severe weather in the Ohio and Tennessee valleys as the humidity from the Gulf continues on. So if this is the canary in the coal mine today, because this is not a forecast, this is an analysis, about 11 miles up, 10, 11 miles up on the 23rd of February. There will be another surge of cold air as warm air rises, cold air sinks, but it's likely to sink in this direction, not so much in our direction, if that makes any sense. So we're probably looking good, I think, as we head toward the 23rd of March. It usually takes about 30 days for that to manifest or take hold in that part of the United States. Now, headlines, just kind of summarize it. It's 8:05. If you just joined us, welcome. Clouds are decreasing tonight. It's going to be cold. If you've got kids at the bus stop tomorrow morning, make sure that they're bundled up. Lows are going to be in the mid to upper 20s. Mostly sunny tomorrow. Chilly. If you like today's temperature at 42, you're going to love it again tomorrow, about 42. And I think it will become mostly cloudy Wednesday morning, but become partly cloudy second half of the day. So that's clouds to partly cloudy in the afternoon, but stray showers still possible. I'd say maybe a 10% chance, as we've already looked at some of the data. But you cannot find consistency in this map. You're not going to find it anywhere. 42, 58, then 61. And by the time you get to these 2 days, these are the rainy days. I am hopeful that the weekend is going to turn out pretty nice. The weekend should be pretty close to normal. 56-degree, partly cloudy Saturday. I think a lot of us would take that any day, given the wild, woolly weather we've had so far this winter. By the way, we've now had 5.6. Let me repeat. Let me come back on camera for a second. 5.6 inches of snow for the entire season. That includes Veterans Day. That includes December 8th. That includes last night's snow. All told, 5.6. Yours truly said around Halloween that it would be front-end loaded and that we could get some snow after Dr. King Day. It wouldn't surprise me, but the trend would be pushing it back. I don't see a whole lot going on between now and into March. And that's good if you're not a fan of snow. But I said, I'm not saying it couldn't snow, but most of the snow that we've had, if you add it up, most of it occurred before Dr. King Day. And what's interesting is 5.6 falls right in the realm, I said 3 to 7. That was my sweet spot. 5 to 6, 5.6 is what we've had, at least in Norfolk. Others have had way more than that in Williamsburg and Yorktown. Some have had way less than that. I understand that variability is part of the weather game. Watching the cold air, you can see it spinning around like a top, and it will come back down toward New England. You can see that's where the focal point is. If you look at this a little closely, you can see the warmer colors. They make a run by Wednesday, and then they really show signs by Saturday. I got us at 56. I think we're pushing 60 by Sunday. You can see those yellows in Atlanta, Memphis. That's the warmer air, and it will eventually get in here. We're nice and warm by the 4th of March. Isn't that nice? But the cold air will eventually try back down into Maine. So there's, like I said, probably a little less inconsistency. Maybe hopefully we can turn a corner. By the way, any multiple source of information you have is a good thing. We urge you to download our free News 3 First Warning Weather app, having a NOAA weather radio for backup in case your phone loses charge, so you can stay informed when the National Weather Service issues tornado warnings this spring or summer, or if they issue a blizzard warning like the Eastern Shore had over yesterday's time frame. It's good to have the sources of information. The satellite radar, if you're in the military, nice to show you that we have a quiet midsection of the country. There's a storm out to the west. If I zoom in this way, you can see Northern California's got some rain, some mountain snows in Washington State, maybe along the Cascades. Idaho has rain and snow, and up toward parts of Montana, it looks like it's trying to rain there. Snow is now moving into northern Minnesota, and back home you can see the little streamers that are coming down. These are the lake effect enhanced snows off of Lake Erie, even down toward the Finger Lakes, perhaps some snow obviously moving into West Virginia, Portsmouth, Ohio, and into eastern Kentucky around Lexington, perhaps still dealing with snow at this hour. And yes, they are loosely connected with this low that you see that's still spinning right in here, and it's wrapping all this stuff around. It's really like a top. It's had a lot of power and momentum working its way across New England. Now, if you're looking at today, and I am, and this is the European model for the next 10 days, tell me where you think we're going to get our next snow opportunity. Will it come this weekend? Probably not. Will it come in on Thursday? No, it's probably mostly rain. That is definitely looking like a Thursday, Friday rain event. It gets pretty soggy by Friday, and it looks like a fire hose coming up from the Gulf through southern Georgia, Carolinas, and right into a doorstep near you. So yeah, it's going to be pretty sloppy on Friday. We can anticipate that. But as you can see here, most of the snow you see back towards Chicago That's going to stay there as we head toward the early part of March. It moves up toward Portland, Maine, and then there's more snow in Missouri before the 5th of March, and then so it goes. So we're really not going to be worried about too much in terms of snow, I think, in the short term. It's going to be just nuisance raindrops on occasion, and some would welcome that rain all the same. All right, 8 o'clock, 8:09. These are the current 8 o'clock temperatures. Still 38 in Chesapeake, 41 in Virginia Beach. Want to check in with you if you've got a comment or a question. I'll do my best to put you on the screen. I'm trying to see if I have my, it's the comments back on my screen because I may have actually minimized it. There it is. So I just want to make sure I have you on the screen. I got maybe some here on mine. Let me see if I have. Aha, I got David Marshall says, let's talk about spring, no more snow. That's a good point. Let me see if I have the ability, if it's not one web page, because I am on both my page and the WTKR page. Let me see if I can get the imported comments here, because it's kind of weird. I feel like I'm missing something if I don't have some comments from tonight. I had some posted earlier, and I do believe that is from our friend David Marshall. There he is. David, there you go, my friend. Let's talk about spring, he says. Let's talk no more about snow. I'm with you. I think we're going to turn a corner if we haven't already, but sometimes there are those that still hold on. I'm thinking of Kurt Williams. He's hoping that we could get more repeat performances like we got last night. That's just me, or that's just him, me telling you, I think what he secretly is still hoping for. 39 Elizabeth City, that's our current reading, and we also have 37 in Ahoskie. Temperature right now, Beckley, 20. That's cold. 20 degrees warmer in Myrtle Beach at 40. It's 34 in New York City. And we've already kind of looked at the national scene. But negative 17 in Fort Severn. You can keep that, please. I have no interest in seeing that come down here. But that just shows you how cold this area in white really is representative of sub-zero numbers. Lynn Lake Airport up in Canada running right now at negative 8. That's negative 8 at 8 o'clock Eastern time. No thanks. Okay, dew points are pretty dry. Might require some chapstick and some lotion on the fingers, but future temps, don't know what's happening to my map here either. So some of my models today have taken a little hiatus, maybe a little bit of a break. March 1st through the 5th, though, this is true. This is the Climate Prediction Center map. They have two areas of above normal temperatures that would be Arizona, Southern California, relative to their normals, and very warm and toasty along the Gulf around Florida, maybe Alabama and Mississippi. For us, we're still above normal. The only below normal would be the Great Lakes and areas around New England. Now, if we look at the Eastern Shore tomorrow, we're looking at 37 Saxes and Onancock, 37 for Chincoteague. We got 38 in Exmoor, 38 in Cape Charles. You can see our high temperatures tomorrow in Kill Devil Hills and Nags Head, about 42. 42 for Roanoke Island, Manio, Wanchese, 41 Duck, and 42 for Rodanthe, about 41 for Ocracoke and Hatteras. Very happy and thankful that you all are here. I mentioned the decrease in clouds tonight. I won't revisit all of this, but just shows you what a beautiful day we have tomorrow. That's 12 noon, and by the time we hit 4 o'clock, we're still mostly sunny with no complaints all in all. And the big story later this week will be on Thursday into Friday as the rain really starts to advance in from Tennessee. You can see it really filling in, I'd say Thursday morning it comes in from North Carolina, and it just kind of parks itself here through the afternoon, Thursday and into Friday. So our low temperatures tonight, mid to upper 20s. Grab a jacket, the warm one, you'll need it. 25 in Franklin, 32 for Duck, 30 for Cape Charles, and 27 for Gloucester. Tonight's lows should drop down to about 28 Chesapeake, 32 Corolla, and 26 there in Audenlander. Now, as far as the afternoon, 42 for Southside, 45 North Carolina, 41 in the peninsulas. I'm expecting mid-40s for Franklin, Wakefield, and Williamsburg, about 44, 43 for Gloucester, 39 for Cape Charles. Mid-40s expected for Smithfield and Moyock, and 46 for Gatesville and Hertford. Here's your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast, so 42 on Tuesday. Interesting to note, though, we've got similar bookends, right? 42 here, 42 here. So we're going to end the way we start tomorrow. We were 42 today, but I think we'll do it again tomorrow, but lots of sunshine. Best warm day will probably be on Thursday. If you can enjoy a 61-degree day when it's raining, I think it's even rainier on Friday, but if all goes according to plan, we get that rain out of here on Friday, we'll have a decent weekend. There's a lot going on inside and out. I do know Wednesday, there's the Gargoyles of Greensboro taking on the Norfolk Admirals. If you like a 7:05 Wednesday game, Hockey game starts at 7:05. There's also the Virginia Musical Theater. They got 1776. Winter Jam 2026 also going on this weekend. That is, I believe, Christian music. The likes of Chris Tomlin, Matthew West, new song, and if you like Pokemon cards and trading cards, there's a big convention at the Scope going on this weekend as well. There's so many things you can do inside, outside, but let's hope the best weather does arrive this weekend so people can get out and take their dog for a walk, or take yourself and your loved one out for a walk. I do have some great, cool, happy shots. This is pictures from you from our WTKR photographers group. This is from Brenda Davis in Gloucester County. This was time-stamped around 6:30 on Sunday evening in Benna, Virginia. So thank you, Brenda, for sharing that with us. How about this one from Maria? This is Southern Virginia Beach snow around 8 o'clock. Like I said, it did start to stick, a little slushy on the coating on the streets. And it's probably a good time, and when it happened on a Sunday night, most people are in for the night, as it were. It urged people to get where they need to be by 6 p.m. on Sunday, so that also was probably some good intel. Newport News sunrise today. How about that for timeliness? Charles Terrell, thank you for sharing that picture with us. Always appreciate it. I mentioned the clouds will be decreasing tonight. They're trying to do that right now. Maybe a drop of rain off the coast, but I don't expect much beyond what we've already seen today. First warning, 42 tomorrow, 58 on Wednesday, and 61 on Thursday. Don't forget, if you are hungry and you want to save some money, I mean, people get all excited about Cyber Monday, right? When the holidays are around, and you like, oh, I got free shipping. Well, this is 50% off. This is way better than free shipping. Now, granted, it's not going to apply to a delivery guy or gal, but I'll tell you what, if you use the promo code WTKR50, Barco's will take right off the computer, right on the screen, 50% off your order. And I think that's a pretty sweet deal. You don't need to clip a coupon, but there are 6 locations in the 757 that are participating in this giveaway at 50% off. And on top of that, if you sign up, takes about a minute or two of your time, give us your email address and your address so we can send you the certificate. We've given away hundreds of pizzas since May of last year. That is not an overstatement. Hundreds of pizzas. We usually give about 10 individual pizzas to 10 individual people, but one person will get 12 pizzas for the next year, every month. One topping, one large pizza for free. And if you should win this certificate, you could put a magnet under it on your refrigerator, so it will remind you every month that you're entitled to a free pizza. But that number and name is drawn randomly. We'd love to be able to announce your name on Thursday. Pizzolis, Magnificos are all half off this week. I mentioned, how about the satisfying your appetite? That just looks really tasty to me, a slice of pizza. But the big cheese, the chicken fresco, maybe it's a sub, maybe it's a cheesy bread. Pizza bowl. They also have the gluten-friendly cauliflower crust. If you're not a fan of gluten type of crust, you've got options there too. But all of that is 50% off. I think it's a pretty sweet deal. And if you really want to go all in, how about all of these toppings? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 toppings, half off. It doesn't matter if you buy or small works, medium works, or large works. It still works. You know what I'm saying? 50% off using the promo code WTKR50. All right, so that's all that in a nutshell. Thank you for your patience. Hopefully I'll get my software worked out so I can get more of the comments. I got David Marshall's comment up on my page, but for whatever reason, wasn't able to import the ones from TKR. But we'll get that fixed tomorrow. In the meantime, just remember, it doesn't matter if the weather's sunny, and it will be tomorrow. It doesn't matter if it's serious, like it was yesterday evening. It doesn't matter, but just know every day is a gift. You can't change today. You certainly can't change tomorrow. Neither can I. But we can change tomorrow. Make it a better place in our neighborhood. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Take care.